Okay, everybody, this is season 5, episode 1. Of course, I am always your host, Edwin Maya. Welcome back to the conversation, Outspoken Opinionated. Of course, it is me live in person. We've had a great hiatus. It's been a good, I would say, month, month and couple of days. We had some good time. But we've been having a good time. Again, if you aren't following us, we are on Instagram. It's the Outspoken Opinionated Podcast. We're on Facebook, The Conversation, Outspoken Opinionated. On YouTube, The Conversation, Outspoken Opinionated. We're on Apple Podcasts. We're on Spotify. We're everywhere. But it's been good. I think just taking a break from this and regrouping and coming back to some great topics. It was amazing. But I tell you guys, we've been, we've been putting ideas together for the show, different things going to happen. We've moved fully back into virtual. Going into the studio, realize that, man, we're probably going to do virtual. I think virtual works. Everybody, we can get our guests to log in and just be here with us. So we're back to virtual. We aren't going to be in the studio anymore. So this is where I'm going to be in the studio and the guest is going to join me virtually. But anyway, of course, if you're just joining, this is The Conversation, Outspoken Opinionated. I'm the host, Edwin J. Maya. This is our first episode of season 5. And so I'm super excited. I'm super excited for the great conversations I'll be held here today, for prior conversations to come in the future and everything. Again, of course, we do have mugs. So if you guys are interested, you know what to do. It's good to be back. Honestly, it's good to be back. I think I've had a great vacation. I'll put it that way. A lot of things happen over the season. You guys will hear about different things that happen with me, with my family. One thing I would say, during this time, my siblings and I got really, really close. Something I won't say terrible, but something happened in our family with me and my siblings that brought us really close together. And so, we'll share it as time goes by. But anyway, I always like to start the season with these really serious conversations. And so today I have an experienced individual. He's a coach. He's an author. He's a men's mental health advocate. I also read that he's a photographer. I mean, he's everything. The Nigerian people now, they are jack of all trades. So he has conquered everything. He has conquered everything. So he's gonna be here. I know we're going to have a good time because I think the vibe is amazing. So without further ado, I'm going to bring the guest into the broadcast. Sir, welcome to the conversation.
Thank you very much, Edward. I was just having a good laugh while you were introducing me.
Yes, and when I introduced you, I had to put my Nigerian friends say my fake Nigerian accent. I had to try.
Yeah.
But okay, so this is what I did, right? So I've been back and forth with him. My team has been back and forth with him, but I never pronounced his name. So I would just I ain't even going to try it. So now I'm going to ask you to pronounce your name so that as we're going, I don't mess it up. So how do you pronounce your first name? I think both, the first and the last name.
So this is it. First of all, it's a pleasure to be on this show. Thanks for inviting me. I always like to have conversations like this. And especially with men, I enjoy it.
Yeah.
Now going over to my name, it's pronounced Ikponmwosa.
Ikponmwosa.
Oh wow, yeah, that's an explosion. Ikpu.
You have to. It's the power of the name now.
Power. So the full name, my full name is Ikponmwosa Aseun.
Okay.
I'm a Nigerian. Like you've introduced me before, I'm a life coach, financial advisor, author, and men's mental health advocate. I specifically picked men because a lot of men, generally suppress their emotions and nobody speaks up for a man. So I felt it was very important for me because I suffered it for over maybe 40 years, right?
Okay.
It was important for me to take a stand for men and always speak about mental health, So let's do this.
And I like the fact that I think for me what really draw me to you and Instagram and I reached out to you was your book. When I saw the title of Vulnerability, just in the vulnerability for me, I was like, wow, life lessons, opinions of an American man. I was like, wow, that word vulnerability
Not
alone.
American or African.
African. So what we got there? Why did you see my people? Okay, they're gonna edit it. They're
You've
gonna
stayed
edit
too
it.
long in America now.
I know, right? They're gonna edit it, guys. Okay, can you please edit it for me? But anyway, yes. So I think for me, vulnerability, Black African men of color don't connect with that. So why is it that you chose that?
So growing up, I faced a traumatic childhood.
Yeah.
So while I was growing up, I suppressed a lot of my emotions, and that spilled into my relationships. That I really didn't know how to express myself. I didn't know how to love someone. I didn't know how to. If I'm upset, I wouldn't just speak. I'll use my coping mechanism that I developed when I was a child.
Yeah.
That's what I was using in relationship. I won't talk to you, so I could probably go for a day or 2 days not talk to my partner.
Mm,
That's what I used to do when I was a kid. I would shut up. I wouldn't say anything because I didn't have an opinion, right? I would just keep quiet. So that sort of spilled into my relationship and affected my relationship. And I separated from the mother of my kids and my kids as well. So that broke me to pieces. I realized that I couldn't keep living like that. I needed to tell my story,
yes.
so I needed to tell my story. So when I went for a seminar, I think that was in 2019, to a book writing seminar. Thought, what would be the title? We're supposed to take title for a book. What would be the title of my book? And the first thing that came to my mind was vulnerability. I said, because sharing my story, all the things I've experienced when I was a kid, it's the most vulnerable thing that I think I would ever do. It's just gonna make me weak.
Mm,
So when I looked into the titles, then I saw Brene Brown. That was my first time of seeing Brene Brown,
okay.
right? And I was like, oh wow! I started reading her content. That gave me a different perspective, similar to mine's. About vulnerability. That vulnerability is not actually a weakness, but it is a strength. And I say it's not just a strength, it's a superpower because I discovered a lot of things, when I decided to go vulnerable. So that's why I chose vulnerability. And trust me, my brother, since I started being vulnerable, it's been a wonderful ride. I've been enjoying it.
And I like that you said that because I will use myself as an example. I think the moment this is what I say this to my friends and I, and this is what we say. The moment you figure out who you are, it's easy for you to be vulnerable
Yep,
because there is you it's like I already know who I am, so what's the point? Why do I can be vulnerable? I can tell you my deepest secrets. I can tell you my fears.
absolutely.
So I think it's sad to say, but I think a lot of our brothers out there haven't gotten to that space yet where they really know who they are as a person. And so it's hard for them to be vulnerable. It's like you meet people and I'm like, why are you so tense?
Edward, I'll tell you, it's not an easy journey, right? It
Yeah.
takes courage. Like I had to be I had to go to my lowest point to
Hmm.
think, oh, what have I got to lose? Right? Before I decide to say, okay, you know what? I got nothing to lose. What's the worst that can happen? I die, right?
Yeah.
I feel like a dead man already. So it makes no difference, Then I got the courage to try it. And it wasn't easy. I tried it the first time. I was like, oh my God, wow, it pays. It's nice. I'll do it again. Oh. And that's how I started building it. It became a challenge. I was like, when they say you think outside the box, I wasn't
Yeah.
thinking outside the box. I was
No.
leaving outside the box. So I was constantly challenging myself. And that's how I grew as strong as I am. I always say you build a bulletproof confidence. With being vulnerable, I was able to build the bulletproof confidence. Before, I can't even speak to someone and talk about coming live to come communicate with you. No, I'll be scared of my English. I might mess up. I might stutter, But damn, English is not my language. It's not my first language. I'm Nigerian. I should be speaking pidgin English or
Uh-huh.
a local dialect. So if I speak the English is not good, no problem. I move on. or I can mix it up with my pidgin English and my local dialect. So it doesn't really matter. But it's difficult. I wouldn't say because we are vulnerable and we've experienced the journey and we see that, okay, this is the best form way to live vulnerably, then it should be easy for other people. No, it's difficult. It is a difficult journey. That's why I try to say, I try to take the stand and try to encourage other men to see me, people that know me before, to see me and say, oh, if he can do it, just maybe I can do it.
And so there's so many things that have happened. I think I would say within the span of the last five, let's say 2, 3 years, this talk of mental health and well-being has become a big issue. Everybody, is paying more attention to their mental health. They're really paying attention to their well-being. Kids are, I mean, our generation are literally standing up for their rights and letting their parents know, you messing with my mental health and I'm out
Yeah.
at the door. It's happening. And so, but we still see that our brothers are still, it's still a struggle for them. It's still a struggle for someone to say, you know what, I do suffer from depression. I do have anxiety. I do have all these things. I am upset that my family is torn apart.
Mm,
I'm not as strong as I used to be.
mm,
And I think when you mentioned your experience, it's so funny because I had the same experience. I think my lowest point was when I lost my family. I went through a divorce. I had to go through. I think that I tell everybody, I say the worst thing, like I cannot put it on my enemy, is divorce.
yes.
Physically, mentally, you are drained. And I
Mm,
think that when I hit rock bottom, because I lost everything. I lost, for me, it was, it's your pride. You're married, you have a family, and then everything that's shattered.
yeah.
And so, as we're speaking, I just want to find you being an advocate, how can we really, really get our brothers to understand that it is okay to be vulnerable?
I think one of the ways we can get our brothers to know that it's okay to be vulnerable is to amplify these conversations.
Hmm.
Amplify these conversations. Like more people getting to talk about, more men getting to talk about mental health, more conversations like this, two, three, four men together
Yeah.
talking different aspects of it, and they see it. I mean, when I do my men's mental health Monday that I do
Hmm.
every Monday,
Yeah.
I might not get a comment. I might just get one like. I might get 10 views. But trust me, I don't know how it happens. When I see some of my friends outside, like, man, you don't know what you're doing. You don't know how much you're helping us. Man, well done. That thing you said, this thing you said, saved me, this thing you said. So it's a slow process. It's a
Yeah.
slow build up. See, it's the issue of mental health with men has been a long time coming.
Hmm.
The society has made us feel that we're superheroes, where the men were supposed to have a tight face, like everything
Yeah.
is you're all nice and cool, and we suppress our emotions. If you show any form of vulnerability, people feel you're weak, right?
Hmm.
Right. So it's been a societal thing. Now to live from that generational societal feeling of men being strong, always showing up as strong, it's gonna take a long time. It's gonna take a lot of conversations. We need to continuously speak about it. It happens to everyone. It's not just men, women as well. But it's just that women can share,
Yeah.
men can't share. That's why we need to keep intensify, and amplify these conversations and the sharing. That's why I always share, and that's why I got my book, so that when it gets to a man's hand, when you read it, you're like, oh wow, this man can say so much about himself. Wow, you know, when someone can do it, you think maybe I can do it. So I think that's how we can show our brothers that it's okay to be vulnerable and just open up.
And so you talk about, you went into details about certain things about your life in your book and stuff like that. Was it an easy or hard task to really give? What you did was you gave the world an opportunity to really see you for who you are as a person.
Um, Edward, I think it was a spiritual task. It was a spiritual thing. You know why I say it was a spiritual thing? Because most of the things that I do now, and most of the things that are coming out for me now, it started happening when I was a kid,
Okay.
10 years, 8 years old. So the things that happened to me, I was like, oh man, I should say this. Then I get scared. I'm like, no, 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 you can't say that. I'll suppress it. Something happens again. I'm like, no, 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 no. They'll laugh at you. They'll do this. I'll suppress it. So all those things has been storing in there. I keep suppressing and suppressing and suppressing and suppressing. I got filled up. I was like,
Mhm.
I can't keep going like this. I can't keep going like this. So, and some of those things that I suppressed over time, I forgot them, right? When it got to the time when I said, you know what, I'm done. I can't. I have to release these things. I can't. I just gotta live my life. And I can't. I'm not functioning properly like this. When I started releasing it, right? All those things that I forgot, all those things that when it happened, I was like, oh man, you gotta say this thing that I completely forgot about. They started popping up like, oh, here
Mhm.
I am, here I am, here I am, here I am. I was like, oh, this happened. I mean, I never knew that as a kid, when I was just 10 years old, I wanted to take my life. I had suicidal ideations. I wanted to take my life. Only when I was writing this book, everything came to me. I remember where I was, how I thought of it, what I needed to do. I was thinking, okay, go put yourself on the shutter, the garage shutter. You understand? I
Yeah.
was thinking, you know the way you see, because then you in Nigeria, you see them kill a live chicken, right?
Yeah. Mhm.
I was thinking, okay, do that same way. I was like, no, it's gonna if it hurts you so much, you're gonna stop. All those things came to me, while I was writing this book, and it took me 3 years. 3 years, all the emotions I cried in the process of writing it. So all these emotions came to me, and it's never easy. It's not an easy journey,
Yeah.
but just when you release it, it feels like the weight of all these years, be it 20, 30, 40 years, in my own case, just falls off, and you become lighter and free.
And I don't know if I look at it that way, but just looking at all the things that you've done and the things that you currently do, I'm like, wow, it's a whole package. Because there are financial is an issue that causes some sort of depression, especially for men. The security, their family needs to be secure. I mean, everything that you do, it's like a whole package
Yes.
for this well-being, mental health and well-being. And so, us as Africans, we don't have these conversations. We don't have this conversation. We don't talk about you get over it, deal with it.
Mm.
And so, do you have therapy? What writing this book was it a form of therapy as well?
It was. It was. So when you're releasing, so I always say that when you share, they say a problem shared is half solved, right? When you share, right, some of the problems leave you because they've just
Yes.
been in you. You release. I did the last video I did. I said, okay, I talked about the difference between mental health and mental illness. How mental
Yes.
illness is an illness, you understand,
Hmm.
that you really have no control of, but mental health is something you have control over because it's your thought. It's created by negative thoughts in
Exactly.
your brain, right? Now, how do you solve that? You solve that by populating positive experiences and positive thoughts to fill your mind and releasing you know, negative experience. So releasing negative experience is sharing them. So it gives space for you to fill your mind and your brain up with the positive experiences that you're creating for yourself.
Hmm.
Now it's easy like that, but people find it very difficult because they keep ruminating or oh, what would have been? Oh man, this happened to me. They just keep ruminating on the experience. In America, for instance, they keep ruminating on the fact that the way they're being treated, racism, that rumination in the brain creates mental health problems.
And I like that you brought that up because I was going to go into that as well.
Mm.
Because I feel it's like so. After I was born and raised in Liberia,
Yeah.
I cannot, and this is what I say to people, I cannot identify with slavery because I really don't, I've never experienced it. I've
Yep.
never experienced it. I grew up,
Yep.
all the people most of the people that I grew up with were my same skin color. Now, if you say a caste system, I understand what a caste system because I know you've seen people who were less fortunate, and you see people who had money. You've
Yes.
seen it. It's not like America where they have the middle class. We don't have middle class in Africa. Either
Mhm.
poor or you rich. Period. That's it. Done. So when it comes to, I feel it's like, African Americans, when they talk about, mental health, that's why I
Mhm.
feel it's affect them a lot because there is a lot of suppression of their feelings.
Yes.
Now we see the killing of young black men, we see the killing of black men, and these black people in their own country, they're not free. So when you say, when they say, oh, the rate of mental health among black men is high,
Mm.
and I'm like, it's high because their society has created this systematic approach that really, really keeps them down and it messes with their mental health.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. Because each time a black man is killed in the US, it's compounding the trauma for them.
Mm-hmm.
It's adding to it. It's adding to it. It's
You
adding to it.
relived it.
You're
Yeah.
reliving it again. Like, oh man, you're reliving it, and some just go spiral. It just spirals out of control because it's too much.
Mm-hmm.
You're right there. It's everywhere around you. The moment you're stepping out, you don't know if you're going to come back alive. You know, so all of that, it's just too much. And this is why I say, I don't know. I'm this kind of person that things do come to me, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sort of blessed with a vision to see certain things. I feel in the next 2 decades, 3 decades down the line, there's going to be a migration back to Africa.
Mm-hmm.
Do you understand?
I
It's
agree.
slowly happening now.
It's happening now. People are leaving because,
It's
I
slowly
mean,
happening now
yeah.
because we literally have everything, right, in Africa
Mm-hmm.
to live a good life, wealthy life. And that's where you go. When you see some Black Americans go to Ghana or Nigeria, it's like, this is the first place where I don't feel I'm Black.
Yep. I
Because your skin color is the same.
Yeah, everybody. We
And
all
everything is there. The weather is nice. You got good, natural, organic food. You got mineral resources. Everything is there. We just need to realize that we've got everything for ourselves because racism to me is a feeling of superiority.
Yeah.
You feel you're superior to me. You look down on me like, yeah, it's a black man. That, you know. So if I don't come to you for anything, the reason why it happens is because we come over here, right? So you feel, oh, we're helping them, right? You look down on them. If I don't come over to you, if I'm not here in the West, will you come to Africa? Will you come to Nigeria and be racist to me? No way. You can't try it. So I think we as blacks, we just need to wake up and realize that we're all one and realize where our home is. It's been a long time. I mean, a lot of black Americans with the slavery and everything, it's been a long time. You can't really trace your history and everything. But I think at some stage everybody needs to do that ancestral DNA and look for
Mhm.
some sort of connection and just go there. Just go there.
And I like that you say that because I think it was like the first episode of my last season. I had this conversation with. I had. Uh, there were three African Americans, and the
Okay.
conversation was really about reparation
Yeah.
and Black American versus African American and
Yeah.
Pan American,
Mm.
and so that division alone it creates this trauma. It produces this sense that it deals with it's mental health. It deals with your brain. It makes you
Yes.
feel that okay, like somebody would say, I didn't come on a boat. I came in a plane. So there is some sort of entitlement. I'm better than you, and your
Ah.
people came on a boat, and
Mm.
I'm Black American. I'm not African American because there's. I'm Black American. I'm a black man in America. I'm Black American. I'm not African. I've never lived in Africa. I don't think I have any lineage because, like, it goes all these things. And for me, I feel it's like these are the things that actually messes up with our mental health.
Yes.
It messes up with our mental health. It puts us in a space where you are looking over your shoulder all the time. Anxiety. You
Hmm.
start to get anxious all the time. There is some sort of depression because you feel that, I can't make it in life because there is this person just stepping on me.
Mm.
But you talk about life lessons, just going to cut it short of an African man. And I think as you're an African man, I'm an African man who live in America. That's something I think I think if we can, for the next couple of minutes, if we can really focus on that, because I think a lot of people don't realize the pressure that an African man has to carry while living in America or anywhere in the Western world.
Yeah. You see, as an African, right? Particularly, I speak from no, I say I used African because I love to represent the whole of Africa. I mean,
Yes.
I don't want to make it Nigerian man. No,
Yes.
I'm an African man because I feel we're all one. Sometimes I think, I come from Africa. I haven't even explored Africa enough. And the next thing I'm running and the beauty in all Kenya, South Africa, Zimbabwe, all of that, we haven't even explored it enough, even in my own country. And now we're dashing out to the Western world. The next thing you want to go to Cancun and all these places.
Mm-hmm.
And we have beautiful places in Africa, you know. So, but basically, one of the pressures that happens to us in Africa is that most cases, our upbringing, it's pretty, what word will I use for it now? It's pretty challenging.
Yeah.
It's pretty challenging. And it does carry on to our adult life because I always say that um, we are not far from what we were as kids. So either we're trying to fulfill something that we didn't have as kids, or something that we've adopted as kids. We just keep using it. Sorry, I think give me a minute. This thing is
Mhm.
going. My laptop is going low. I need to plug it before it turns off on me. Sorry,
Mhm.
guys.
No, go ahead.
Like for me, I had um I had a very difficult relationship with my dad. Some people have the don't have the parent their fathers with them. They're like, oh man, I wish I had a dad with me. You just miss the influence of having a father around you.
Yeah.
But I had my father. I grew up with my father, but he was very complicated. I didn't want to be like him. I don't like to use the word, but I disliked him so much. The good aspects of him, right? Because it was him, I just did not want to. I wanted to be opposite of him.
Yeah.
So like my father was an accountant. He knew how to manage money. He was used to saying no if you asked him for something. He was used to saying no just to keep things to be prudent. Because of that, I became very careless with money, right? And that's why I do what I do now as a financial advisor because I had to tackle my relationship with money. It was messed up, right? I became very careless with money. I have no respect for money, and I became a yes man. Ask me for anything, I'm like yes, take. Because my father was no, I decided to go yes. And what did he do? It messed me up. People now take advantage of me. So a lot of the challenges we have as kids when we're growing up in Africa, it comes in most cases to haunt us when we're grown up.
Yeah.
A lot of the habits we took when we're kids, it comes to haunt us because most times in Africa, they don't let you express yourself, right? You can't speak, and that lack of inability to express yourself is what's the cause of mental health because you're supposed to let your emotions out,
Mm-hmm.
right? Let your emotions out, but they don't let your emotions out. You keep their emotions in you. I remember, I'm going to share this. I remember when I was a kid, right? I think I was 8 or 10 years old. I can't remember. Maybe within seven. I was still in primary school. So I have this very creative mind.
Mm-hmm.
My mind was always telling me things. Or like, what would I do with this? Always telling me, do this, do this, do this. And I wrote a love letter to a girl, to a neighbor close to me. So I wrote this love letter and I sent the love letter to her. Somehow, I don't know, the mother saw the love letter and brought it over to my house and reported me to my father. My father read the letter, called everyone, embarrassed me,
Mm-hmm.
everyone, and read the letter out. But the sister of the girl, the elder sister of the girl that I wrote the letter to, was saying something. I still remember. She was saying, "Can't you guys see the way he wrote this letter? Can't you guys see the way he wrote this letter?" I just kept quiet. She was the only one on my side. Everyone was calling me a spoiled child because how can you be writing a love letter at that age?
Age.
You understand? So everyone was like, "As a spoiled child," in my Omoria, in my local dialect. But she saw something just the way I wrote the letter. But because of that, I stopped writing.
Mm-hmm.
So I now associated writing with pain. I stopped writing. So all the while I was growing, if I see a book, I'm like, oh man, it'd be nice to write my experience. So, but I can't write. I can't write. So when I finally wrote this book, I was like, oh my God, that letter that I wrote is what's in me. It's what's in me. I'm trying to express my emotions through writing. But that experience suppressed my expression, my ability to express myself through writing. I would have been expressing myself and written so many books by now
Yep.
if I was encouraged. But no, I wasn't. And so do other people, be it drawing, painting, they just stop them and kill that in you. And that's how you just carry on in life.
And I like you brought that up because those are the effects of people not being who they are. Our parents not learning how to, or everybody have to be a doctor or engineer or
Mm.
nurse or this, and the person I just want to be a teacher.
Yeah, exactly.
People who want to be a teacher. No, you can't be that. And so as an adult, you grow into this angry person, and we wonder why most often, they will say, people say that all the time, you guys, like people from Africa, you're so aggressive, you're so this, you're so that. But it's really not it's transfer aggression.
Mhm.
It may not be you have an opportunity in where you were able to express yourself to your parents, they allow you to be who you want to be. But then there are people who never had the opportunity to be who they want to be, and now they're turned into these bitter adults because this guy maybe who have just wanted to be an artist.
Yeah.
Draw. What is draw? What money you gonna make from drawing? And so
When I was growing up, everything that I needed to be was a creative, an artist. I drew. I wanted to paint. Anything that was artistic drew my attention. Was pulling me. Even music was pulling me in, but I never went there. It felt like these things were communicating with me. I felt like I
yeah.
wasn't in this world. It felt like when I'm passing through, it was like, oh, come, my friend, come over. Don't worry, just come try me. I'm like, why is this speaking to me? I walk away.
Mhm.
That's how I was as a child. When I was growing up, I felt I wasn't supposed to be in this world. I felt I was supposed to be in a different world because I knew I was different.
Yeah.
But just because of my experience, as a child, I there was no encouragement. I dumped everything. So it felt like a fish taken out of the pond
Mm.
to start living in the land. So that was my struggle all through life. Then what happened to me was, and I thought, you know what? I'm going to make sure my kids don't experience what I experienced. So my life was now based on giving my kids the best. That was I didn't focus on myself anymore. It was now my kids. I'm going to give my kids the best. I was trying to give my kids the best, and behold, everything shattered. I was like, so now what? So after many years, I had to start reverting back to my real self. That's how I started finding myself, going back to myself. Like, okay, now dig in, struggle, try and write something, or try and speak. I had to go join the Toastmasters Club to try and
Mhm.
express because I had so many thoughts in my brain. Now I couldn't connect those thoughts, right, to writing or even words. So my brain was filled up different things. I was like, how do I release this? So I had to go to a Toastmasters Club where I started practicing how to speak and how to write. That's how I slowly started discovering myself. It was a safe environment where I could express myself. I was
Yeah.
expressing myself, and I discovered that I was powerful. I had so much that I didn't know existed at all.
Hmm.
There's some people that know me from when I was a child now. They see me now and they're amazed, like, oh, wow, this is guy. A friend of mine that was said to that was like, bro, you surprised me, man. How do you do all those things you're doing? You surprised me. I'm like, bro, we all have it.
Yes.
We all have it.
And I think it's important when you're doing something that you like to do, you enjoy doing it. It's easy. It's like second nature. You're not
Mhm,
stressing, and
mhm.
so that's why And as we're talking about men and their mental health and how important it is for them to, focus on who are you, things that you like. The simple thing as I tell people, the simple thing as, do you even know yourself? Have you spent quality time with yourself? Do
Yeah.
you do because you have to know you in order for you to show you to other people.
Mm.
So you in like they always say, nobody's gonna know. People treat you the way you give yourself to them. It's
Yes.
simple. If you
Mm.
know who you are, that's why sometimes we're in these crazy relationships and you're just there, you're just holding on because you're like, what, I don't think if I leave this relationship, I'm gonna find another one who's gonna want to be with me, who want to do this, and you realize that nah, I'm not being me. And you made a really important point when you talked about you doing things for your kids because, and I think a lot of us go through that. A lot of
Yes.
us. You want, if I like this growing up as a child, my kids cannot like it. I need to make sure my child has everything they should have,
Yes.
everything they should have.
Yes.
And then by the
Yes.
time you look, you raise these spoiled brats who have no sense of no. All they know is, Daddy, I want this. Of course, go and get it. I want this. Go and get it. And
Yeah.
not knowing that, yes, our parents probably told us no more than they told us yes. But that made us understand that there are some things you can get.
And just to piggy off what you just said now, that was me. I was going to spoil my kids
Yeah.
because of my experience, and that's I call it a trauma trigger because all the things that I was doing was a trigger from my life before the stage that I'm in now was triggered by trauma. Everything when I look back, this is all trauma, man. You understand? So it's all trigger trauma. Wanting to give my kids the best, make sure they have the best. It's all trigger trauma. I didn't think, okay, is it what's best for them? Give them the best. Is that what's best for them? Right? Not necessarily. But now that I find myself in a situation where I've been pulled away, kind of separated from my kids, I'm seeing my kids grow now to the kind of person that I am. I'm seeing myself like, wow, really? If I was there with them, they wouldn't have been like this. My son now is very logical with his thinking. He's just 12. My first son is just 12 years old. He's very logical with his thinking. Like, no, daddy, because he was put in a situation where he had to analyze what's going on here.
Yeah.
What's happening? What's happening with daddy? What's happening with mommy? What's going on here? So his brain had to stop reasoning. Like, okay. It might not understand now. Later, I was like, okay, put two and two together. And that's what you need. You need that logical thinking, critical thinking, you know. So
And
that's the best way to develop them.
exactly. And I feel like, as we're in a different culture, we're in a different situation,
Mm.
sometimes we feel to realize that the environment, the culture here influence our kids. So
Hmm.
the way you were raised, the way I was raised in Liberia, I can raise my child like that. And it's funny because I see, my dad comes over and he's like, oh, I went up today, I forget you. And then my son is just be like, well, why is grandpa doing all of this? You need to calm down. And I'm just like, oh, why is grandma doing this? Because sometimes my mom will be, and I was just like, he's like, they need to calm down. Why they just do all of that? I'm like,
Mm.
they raised us. It's
Yeah.
funny because my siblings and I said something the other day. We said, we towards saying our dad, how much we appreciate him, we love him, we got our issues. We got our issues, but
Everyone's got issues.
we realized that look, this man was a good dad. He raised us the way he knew how to raise us.
Exactly. That's the
And
truth.
at the end of the day, we need to figure it out
Yeah.
because he did what he could have done. And
They have their
so,
own stories. They have their own
exactly,
stories
he
that we
has
don't
his
even know.
and you don't even know about it. And so,
Yeah.
when we talked about that, and we talk about, I think I want to turn this back to, an African man living in this society. We come from societies where, everything is straight and it's black or white. That's it. And then you come over here, there's a gray area. It's funny that we talk about that, but back home in our area, people don't divorce. They stick on to it, and we're like, "Excuse me, that's not working. Peace out, gone." And you're like, "Check out." And so, all that stuff messes with your psychic. I think those are the pressures of society, the pressures of the world that messes up with us. And you sit there and you want, okay, am I a failure? Like, because, my parents, like, I have a friend who, their parents are like, they've been married for like 50 something years. And and they're like, okay, so because I'm going through something, is it I'm a failure and blah blah blah. And you go through these things, so the whole mental health and well-being, especially for men, is a pressure on us. But how do we navigate this mental health situation for black men? How can we navigate that whole process or even get the services or get the help or start to talk about it? Because we're talking about it now, but there's some people who might be like, sure, I ain't gonna have this conversation because it's gonna mess me up.
I think another thing, I was just opening that part of my book.
Mm,
One of the ways is to really identify. So that there's in the world there's an identity crisis.
mhm.
Identity crisis. So most of us don't even know who we are. So if you don't know who you are, how can you now fit into someone else's life and you don't even know who you are?
Yep.
So because the mental health issue, it's us struggling with our identity, our situations, because we don't know ourselves. We stumble into some experiences that affects us, and we start thinking, what stays, what direction, now, what way to go. So I think one of the ways is just intentionally, because you see, men are molded in such a way that you have to go out and go and make money. Just go make money. Be the provider. Be the protector. I call it PMP. Be the protector and the provider. But I'll say something. Leave those small P's, right? Go look for who you are and chase purpose.
Hmm.
When you change it to the big P, later all that protector and provider will come with it. But when you chase the big P of purpose, you will know who you are and why you are on earth. Then life becomes easy for you. Then you don't have to live carry two or three different personas. You just be yourself everywhere you go, then things are not complicated. You're just simple. This is me. Take me for who I am. If you don't like me, go away. I
Hmm.
always say when you're vulnerable, it creates a proper filter for you. You don't work too hard. Those that are meant to be for you will gravitate towards you.
Yes.
Those that are not meant for you will fall up fast because they can't stand you. Like, oh man, you know? So go work on who you are. See, here in this book, it says, who are you? Right? So the first thing is to find the identity, because this is an identity crisis. You have to know who you are. It's find out who you are. The first thing to do is to reflect on your past.
Yes.
So a lot of the things we did in the past has a snippet of who we really are. So for me, when I was growing up, no matter what I did, what I found easiest to do was tell the truth.
Hmm.
Everything I tell the truth. When I see something go wrong, I used to do terrible things. I mean, I was a bad boy. But
Yeah.
in that bad boy, I still had compassion. I still felt like if I do something, it's like, "Oh, but why did I do this thing? This is no good." You understand? That's giving me a snippet of who I was. So when I sat down to reflect on all my past experience, I was seeing snippet of who I really was. A guy that's honest, that stands for the truth. Because one of my core values now is the truth. When
Yeah.
you lie to me, it pisses me off. I can't stand lies. I like honesty. And it started from when I was young, right? So reflect on your past. The other one says, observe your feelings.
Mm.
So how do you react to things?
That's important.
Yes, observe your feelings. We just keep going without observing. See how you feel when something happens. Why is
And
that?
I don't want you to even past that, I don't want to focus on observing your feelings. You talk about, when you be vulnerable, once you become vulnerable, you know who you are. People, you don't like me, go away. And I think a lot of people who aren't honest with who they are can't stand people who are very open with their feelings. They can't stand it. Because you tell them, look, don't talk to me that way. I don't like it. Don't do that. That's not for me. These are my feelings. It's her. And I'm like, you're so sensitive. Why? I'm like, I ain't sensitive. I mean, tune on my feelings. I know what I like. I know what I don't like. I don't like a certain tune. Don't do that to me. And people get so offended. And I'm like, why are you mad? When you said that, just I'm like, yep, that's it.
I'm laughing because it's funny. It's. I knew this conversation was going to be like this because when I get on a conversation with a man that's open, that's ready, even ready, willing to have a conversation, for you to even have this show, it shows who you are.
Mhm.
It shows you've discovered yourself. You're self-aware. You're ready to speak, open up. So I knew, like, anytime I've gone to a show that's hosted by a guy, it's always like this, right? It's funny how we are so the same, but when we don't open up, we think we're different.
Yeah.
But when we open up, we'll see our journeys is it's very similar.
Yeah.
It's very similar. So what you're saying now is like I've experienced that a lot. The moment I started being expressive and I discovered myself, people, and this is why I say it's a filter, people got upset. People that were close to me got upset, started antagonizing me. You understand? I always use this analogy to describe it. It's like someone that's in a prison suit, right?
Mm-hmm.
And see you free, feeling free with your nice clothes. I'm like, and they're upset because they don't want to wear that orange prison suit. You understand? They're stuck in a prison suit, so they're upset with you because you're free. And they can't be free. They can't get off the suit, pull the suit and get off the suit. They don't know how to get out of it. So they're upset with you. So when I'm in that situation, and I tell anyone that's listening, don't take it personal.
Mm.
Don't take it personal. Because you get that over and over again. Don't take it personal. Your journey is different. Sometimes in this journey, you get lonely. There's no one around you. Everything just falls off. Everyone around you, it seems like it's just you now. Like, oh my God, what kind of life is this? Yeah. Sometimes that space needs to be empty so the right things can fill it up.
And the right people do come around. This is
Yes,
what I say. You will not even believe. You'll be like, where did this person come from? When you meet somebody who they're as, I mean, they realize who they are. So your conversations are different. You guys have genuine conversations. You guys go to, I mean, it's just like, wow, like where are these? I didn't know there was somebody like me around here that I could just talk to. You guys have great conversations. Your level of thinking is at a different level. Because you and so I've seen that, and then I look at it, I'm like, but huh? And my therapist told me, and she was like, you can't pull them. You have to leave them alone.
No, you can't pull them. No,
you can't pull them.
You try to pull them, then you have problems.
Yeah, that's what she said. She said, you're not going to go down there and pull somebody. She used this analogy. She said, you know what? The pastors stand up on a pulpit. She said, because they're there to pull people from the pit. That's not your job. You and that person was on a journey. The time is done. You don't pull them out of that pit. When they're ready to get out the pit, they will come out that pit because 100%. They will see that, okay, damn, this thing is real, because they will realize that you real, you ain't changed.
Yeah.
This is you who you are, and that's it. And so, when we, I think guys, a lot of men of color, Black men, we need to understand that, it's okay. It's okay to share your feelings. It's okay to say, you hurt me.
Yes.
This hurt.
Yes.
And I don't like it. Don't do it to me again. Instead of sitting there and being all tough and mature, and you don't want nobody to know that you're puffing and puffing. One of my friends said, all those things cause cancer.
It does. It does. We create the sickness and this ailment. And that's why you see that they say the life expectancy of a man it's 86, right? No, it's 83. That of a woman's 86. Yes. So a woman lives longer. It's because of all those things. Your thoughts can make you sick. Your thoughts can heal you. You see, when God said He created us in His image and likeness, we're gods.
Yes.
You understand? We can create things. We can heal. We can heal ourselves. We can heal others. It's with the thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
Our thoughts are very, 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 very powerful. And that's why I don't believe that anyone should stay in any toxic environment. A lot of men do that because of their kids. Like, you're not doing your kids any favor by staying in a toxic relationship. You're not doing your kids any favor. I did that for a while. It wasn't working for me. I was like, oh man, I don't want to be, I don't want my kids to face a polygamous home like me, man. And I was losing myself.
Mm-hmm.
I was losing myself in the process. So when I came out, I realized that, oh man, I've completely lost myself. Who am I now? I'm gonna start finding myself.
Yep.
You know.
And then that's when you go through this whole process of finding who you are, and you realize that you were not authentic. So that self that those people knew wasn't really you, because you have a whole facade. So
Yes.
now when you present, it's like I went to this workshop, and the guy said that every time he goes to speak, it's like he have to reintroduce himself. Hey, mom. Even to his mom, his dad, his everybody that he knew, he had to literally reintroduce himself to them. Because we're just like, that person that you guys knew wasn't me. This is me now, because I've done my work. I know who I am.
True.
And I'm true with myself. I accept me, all my flaws, all my issues. I'm okay with it. I'm not embarrassed of the things that I do. This is me, and you guys got to deal with it. You don't like it, well, I can't help you.
And I think that's what everyone needs to do. Every single person, especially every man. We all focus on trying to chase money, chase money. It consumes us, right? Take a break. Take a break and do the work. Go find out who you are. It's very important, because most of us are a result of what our parents has made us believe that we should be.
Yes.
You understand? Or the experiences that we had growing up, picked up from different people. You know, so we're like a molded thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so all these things need to break down and go and find out who you really are at your core. Do the work, and you'll be grateful for it.
And you'd be surprised when you find out who you are, how easy is it for you to just start to live. You'll be like, oh, yeah, okay, these people are not my people. I move on. Like, you do get a little, like you said, it's lonely. You who used to be on the phone, like I would tell people, I said, my thing was, I was the people person. I was everywhere. I was invited to I was in everybody's wedding. I was everywhere. And then when I realized, okay, I was accepting all these things just because I wanted to please people, but I didn't really want to do it. First of all, it's expensive. All these things I'm doing, this person invite me out to a bar, I'm there. Let's go to this place, I'm there. I'm spending my money, I'm going. And then when you get to a space where you need help, these people are not available. The same person I used to, if they call you 3 o'clock in the morning, you will get up, get in your car, and go help them out. You're calling them broad daylight, they were like, oh, I'm sorry, I can't make it, something came up.
Oh yeah.
And
Yeah. Absolutely.
You know how many times I sacrificed for you, so you realize that, okay. So now if I can't do it, I can't do it.
Exactly.
I can't do it. I can't help you. I'm sorry.
I always say, I said this one time when I did one of my videos, like, you got to find your own hope, because when you try to hope on people, they leave you for dead.
Yes.
They will leave you for dead. Call them, you won't see them. I've experienced it. Like, man, I'm going through this now. I just like someone to be around me. Okay, I'll come. Next thing they're calling, no answering. So if I'm dying, you're just going to leave me to die?
It's your problem.
Absolutely. They will leave you for dead.
Mm-hmm. And
I was just going to say one thing. Just imagine if we weren't living our authentic self. If I wasn't myself. You saw me, right? You saw me on Instagram. You viewed a few things and you're like, oh man, I got to speak to this guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if I wasn't expressive, I wasn't myself. If I wasn't sharing, there's no way you can connect with me. Because you don't know me.
Yeah.
Like, who's this guy? You don't know me, right? But just because of the things you've seen, and that's why it's important for us to open up and connect with the right people.
Yeah.
And gravitate to the right people. Like, I've seen you interview Dr. Lulu before. That's how I met her as well. I saw her sharing and she was very, very vulnerable. I was like, okay, let me speak to this person. I spoke to her. She was like, I want to come on your show.
Yes.
So that's how you just connect.
And I think once you've done your work and you're true to who you are, people who are true to themselves, it's easier for you guys to connect.
because they done the work, they can
They've
see it.
done the work and you
They've seen
see
this guy
that,
has done the work.
yeah, you see
They
this
just
person,
see it.
like, okay, this person is true. This is who they are as an individual.
Yes.
It's easy for us to connect. I'm a never. I think I met. So talking about Dr. Lulu, I met Dr. Lulu before years ago, but I didn't know when I asked her to be on the show with me and her connecting on Instagram. I didn't know it was her until my cousin, who I met her through, texted me and said, "But you don't know who that is?" I said, "No," and she sent me a picture of all of us on the picture. She said, "I said, oh my God." I can't even connect the two. She's like, yeah, that's the same person. And I think it's like, it's like we were in a, I don't even think I can remember where we were. I think we went to, I don't even know where we went, but we were all together in the same space. We took a picture and that was it. But now that I've gotten to know who she is as a person, like I feel her vibes and everything, I'm just like, this is an authentic human being. And when you
Yeah.
talk about, I'm like, yeah, that's what, when I saw your book, going through your videos, I think for me, mainly was the fact that someone of African descent, an African man, wrote a book about vulnerability. I'm like, nah, you gotta be crazy. Because your people are gonna be like,
Yeah.
are you mad? Are
Yeah.
you gonna talk all your secrets? I think
Mm.
for the first time I started going to therapy, they were like, don't talk all your secrets, so don't tell the people everything. I'm like, I don't know this person. I swear I'm gonna tell them everything about me. I don't know you.
See, funny enough, there's some things in this book is still pregnant.
Uh,
Some aspects of this book is
uh,
pregnant. It's going to give birth to certain things that's still going to be revealed.
mhm.
So I've always known that God put me in this world for a reason. And I had to experience certain things that I wasn't supposed to experience. That when I experienced them, I was like, God, what, but why? Why? You know? But only now I realized that I had to be put in that experience, be the bad experience, because God needed me to witness it and tell the story. No one else would tell the story.
And at the end of the day, I tell people that all the time. There's something I live by. Every situation is going to end up for my good.
Yes.
I don't care
Mm.
how bad it can be.
Mhm.
I know that at the end of the day, I am going to take something good out of it. And this is what I
100%.
tell people. I say my worst thing that happened to me in my life was getting a divorce and going through custody battle, all that stuff. I said, but I found myself through that process. I was like,
100%.
damn, that's me.
Yeah.
The things I didn't thought I could do certain things, and I did them. I
Mhm.
was like, wow,
All this that you see now, everything
yeah,
that you see now, me, I literally being an author, host of my show, Power of the
yeah.
Voice show, men's mental health advocate, being a speaker, you understand, being a financial professional, all of this as a result of my experience and my breakup
Mm-hmm.
and separation for my children. I was like, what else have I got to do now? I have nothing to fight for, right? I've got to look at a bigger picture beyond myself and my
Yes.
family now. Look at a bigger picture. Then I saw a big picture. Then I saw a big me. I was like, oh, I'm this big,
Yeah.
right? So you just find that extra between you. There's a quote that I have in this my book. I said, when broken bits of life, when broken parts of life, your life, broken relationship here, or childhood trauma, or this terrible experience, when these broken pieces are put together, it creates a beautiful work of art.
It does.
It's just like a mirror. When the mirror is broken, it was a mirror before, all you used to
Yeah.
see is just yourself, right? When it's broken and you glue it all together and put it in the frame, that's an artwork.
Yeah.
Simple. So
Mhm.
all the negative experience that we've ever had, it can be turned once we move from the victim mentality. It can be turned to
Mhm.
our victory.
But it's been great.
Absolutely.
We have had a 1 hour conversation. A lot of people be like, it's a 1 hour, yes.
I tell you, yeah.
Yes. And so, before you leave, before we end the show, you can just speak to the people out there. You do your own show. You really bring out the voice of men. You give us
Yes.
hope and stuff like that. So if you can just leave us with something before you leave.
Yeah. So I just want to say to everyone that's listening to us right now, and hearing the sound of my voice, that just know that you're unique. I mean, you're created here for a reason. We didn't just come to life just to, I mean, grease the surface of earth. Go and look for that thing that you're created for. Start by just being expressive. Express yourself and slowly find yourself. Because when you find yourself, that's the best thing that can ever happen to you. You want to leave yourself and what you've done on earth so that when you leave earth, you will remembered for that thing. So go out there, be expressive, be vulnerable, and find yourself.
Well, you guys have heard it. This was the author of the book of Vulnerability, the Life Lessons and Epiphanies of an African Man. I asked you guys to go to Amazon or
Amazon.
wherever the books are. You can purchase a book. You can go to his Instagram as well, and
Yep.
the link is there. But I tell you, thank you, man, for being here with us. Thank you for sharing knowledge, giving us the wealth of knowledge, and we hope to have you back again.
Hey, bro, anytime you call me, I'm always ever ready. Ever ready,
Thank
bro.
you so much.
Yes.
Thank you, man. And you have a great evening, and we will see you another time.
All right. Thank you very much. A pleasure.
Okay.
It was fun. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you, sir.
Yes.
Well, you guys saw it. Episode 1, Season 5, The Conversation, Outspoken Opinionated. I am your host, Edwin, and this Thursday, I'm out.